Could all these shiny new stadiums end up like this? Billions are pumped into these arenas to have them ready in time for major events like the World Cup. But what happens after the excitement dies down? In 2014, Brazil hosted the World Cup at an estimated cost of $15 billion that helped build enormous stadiums that are now being used by homeless squatters and as parking lots. And South Africa spent more than $3 billion on the 2010 World Cup. Cape Town Stadium has been a financial burden on the local government. Many have called for it to be demolished and replaced with affordable public housing. The idea behind hosting the Cup, as always, is that revenue generated from the tournaments, as well as from tourism, will make up for the expense of building. But often that's not the case, and local teams struggle to fill the huge stadiums. It's also not just the World Cup. The Olympics has a history of building these huge venues with no potential for reuse. Once the event is over, some of them end up like this, abandoned and unused. Some facilities in Brazil were even reportedly closed because the bills weren't being paid. The Winter Olympics in Sochi were notorious for huge budgets and little reuse. Now countries are refusing to bid for the Olympics in light of the controversial budget blowouts in Brazil and Russia. But hosting such events isn't always a bad thing. Like in Australia, where since the Sydney 2000 Games, the Olympic hub has been transformed into its own suburb, with hotels and restaurants. Olympic venues now host thousands of events each year, from music festivals to football matches. So why do countries feel the need to host these events in the first place? There's no denying that countries often put in bids to host these sporting events for prestige or soft power. Sport is used by nations to control their own image, showcasing their culture and promoting their economic strength. So is this enough for countries to justify pumping billions into stadiums?